What I do know is I just find certain things to be odd. I find certain things to be I'll just say interesting. So, foreign venue folks changed the name of their defense apparatus from defense to war. Parties summoned all their 07s and higher to a meeting on one of their marine bases where they're going to have a little bit of a shindig, a party, where shenanigans are definitely going to go down. Because why would you have all your 07s and higher all in the same place at the same time? Just begging for a decapitation strike from an adversary. Highly unlikely. However, can't say it's not plausible, because it is. All that, not a business, and I don't care. I just know that it didn't happen in a vacuum. I just know it's not happening arbitrarily. ICF Op Commander, Minister for the Customs, is right. This had nothing to do with the foreign venue Marines being deployed previously on the left coast, or the foreign venue National Guard being deployed in one location or another, New Mecca recently, and wherever else they're being deployed. If you're going to bring them all together like that, all your 07s, is because you're probably preparing for war. The question is, well, why? I know some are going to say, no, it's because they did say they wanted to get rid of a lot of their 4-star generals. You don't need to bring them there to do that. You can relieve them of duty where they are by a phone call. It ain't hard. There's a reason for it, whatever the reason is. It ain't going to be that. It's not about getting rid of some 4-stars. Those admirals and those generals are going to be there or not there. It ain't that. Oh, it's going to be over the false flag from the Project Bluebeam thingy with the alien thingy. You don't need to do it that way either. You can talk to them, have a little chit-chat over secured lines. I suspect what's going on in the foreign jurisdiction preparation potentially for war, uncivil war at home, as they would say, or otherwise, across the planet. They got an MEU in the Gulf of the Amexem because they want to fight the cartels. They have an MEU off the coast of South Amexem because they've indicted Maduro the way they indicted Noriega. That's going to be some mean bush down there. Nonetheless, they have deployed an MEU down there. And they sent an additional DDG onto that ESG. They're saying they're going to bring in even more assets. This is about Chevron. This is negotiation over an oil patch in disputed waters. The real issue at hand here about why they bring all these 07s and higher to a little chit-chat is probably about preparations for war. Not 2-front war. Probably want to see if they can handle a 3 or 4-front war and an uncivil war at home in their mind. And it's all been pre-planned and staged like the Truman Show decades ago. This is not a new phenomenon. This is certain things just coming to a particular point, and eventually things coming to a head. We just got to navigate our way over, around, and through the crazy and stay out their way. Them coming together for this little shindig. Yeah, well, why the war though? Why now? Why are they buying back 150 billion of their treasuries, and why are they having a hard time trading out their treasuries? Why is Beijing having a hard time trading out their treasuries? All those bonds that are being unsold, well, they're moving out bonds, not the number they're looking for, not in Beijing, not from the Foreign Value Federal Reserve. Others are having a hard time too because there's so much worthless paper, so much debt sloshing around the planet. Not by accident. The owner of 197 central banks across the planet are pulling the strings on both sides of the equation. I'm the president of so-and-so. I am the prime minister of so-and-so. I am the king or the sultan of so-and-so. And not in charge. Those that control their central banks are in charge of them. Which is why we don't have a central bank. We're not playing those games. Banks make loans. We don't do the loan thing. We don't do the usury thing. Article 6 of our Constitution, lock that in. We're not making those mistakes. All that debt sloshing around, it chokes off growth in their quote-unquote economies, in their commerce and trade. The COVID scam lockdowns led to financial ruin across the planet. They injected a whole lot of liquidity by printing a whole lot of paper all across the planet. The paper is cycled through all those quote-unquote economies now. They never really recovered from the lockdown scam. All that worthless paper that they injected and sloshing around took a few Earth years to walk through all those quote-unquote economies. And now that it has, and there's nothing there to maintain that growth, and all the baby boomers are retiring and don't spend funds, so there's lack of consumption, and most of them are consumption-based quote-unquote economies where folks don't consume, there's no growth. So what did their Fed do in the foreign venue a few Earth days back? They said, if we raise the interest rates, it'll help us to defend against this type of inflation. However, others want them to lower the interest rates to spur growth. However, if you make the access to liquidity cheaper by lowering the rates, you're going to get a different type of inflation. On both counts, it's going to harm you. So the private owner operator Federal Reserves, who answers to the central bankers, primary owner operators across the planet, they said, we're going to protect the institution that our boss put in place. The Bowers. And the Bowers said, raise it. So they raised it by 50 basis points. We've been telling you for a couple of Earth years now. Almost 18 months to 2 Earth years, somewhere in that range. We've been telling you something is amiss. Because every time, quote unquote, interest rates get cut, or if they are rising or raising the interest rates, if you would, there is a distinct pattern, or there was, with their quote unquote silver price. When they raise the quote unquote silver price, when they raise the so-called interest rate, the silver price goes down. It has not been doing that for a while now. And some could argue the demand of solar panels will have all that silver in it is the reason why. Yes, there's a shortage of silver across the planet. However, as a rule, silver is tied back to inflation. And if inflation is going down because you've raised your interest rates by technical definition of that, as a rule, the psychology of the market has always been that the silver price, quote unquote, goes down. It has not done that. I remember telling you a while back, quote unquote, silver price has no business being over quote unquote 25 so-called dollars an ounce is basically 46 now. Basically. All intents and purposes. It's not, it shall be tomorrow night at 7 when the markets open over in Greater Asia. You haven't seen it this high in 18 Earth years, when the quote-unquote oil price was $150 a barrel. And what's its paper? The quote-unquote oil price is actually dropping through the floor because of oversupply across the planet. Everybody and their mama all across Alkebu-lan and the Ab-Zu is discovering oil left and right now. And they want to be quick to pump that oil and get it out to market. I understand. I get it. However, the demand is not there. And there's a glut of the oil. So oil is not the flex that it used to be, because it's becoming the new coal. Coal was replaced by oil. Oil is being replaced by hydrogen, being replaced by magnets that make electricity. So if you're depending on oil to get you out of your financial marginalization, you're on borrowed time. Most of my kith and kindred are woefully unprepared. What's happening across this planet now, while folks are preparing for multiple front wars to stretch them, to make it easier for the inside job to take down the colonizers and hostiles in North America, because their troops and sailors are everywhere, and their Marines are everywhere but home for them. It makes it easier to chop them up into pieces and for them to go down in flames as planned. Not our business, not our fight. Be mindful, navigate around and through the crazy that's coming, and stay out their way. Let them fight.